direct comparison, direct head-to-head with are inspired by the tour players. Performing pretty well, absolutely near enough identical. It was a close run, guys, but he wins it. Today we have got a big driver head-to-head in the form of the new Ping G440 LST against the Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond. Both of these clubs sit in this low spin category, typically for quick club head speeds, but not always, generally for people that spin the ball too high and you want to keep that flight down. So we're going to do a head-to-head on two of these very, very popular drivers of this year, okay? And we're going to look at 5 different categories. So we're going to go for looks, we're going to look at the tech, we're then going to look at ball speed, distance and dispersion. Okay, so looking at 5 key areas which will contribute to the best driver. Okay, so if you haven't checked out my reviews of both the 440 range and the Elite range, check those out because quite interesting to look at those and see how they're performing, especially compared to last year's versions. So first category, if we're looking at the looks, then for me it's a hands down winner for the Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond. I think when you're looking at a club like this, generally they're very much that sort of pear-shaped, smaller, compact head, and to me, looking at it, I do much prefer the Callaway. I just think it looks a little bit neater, that sort of polished head. And I think typically a golfer, low handicapper, these are inspired by the tour players. I think generally low handicappers like a very clean looking head. To me, the Ping is a little bit busy looking down at it, especially with the turbulators. Okay, so that's 1 point to the Callaway. But we know it's all about performance. We're going to look at the tech as well. In terms of the sort of key tech differences, well, certainly looking at it from behind, I like the fact that Ping have still got the sliding weight track that allows you to sort of dial in the best shot shape for your game. Triple Diamond doesn't really have that. It's got the adjustable hosel, which again we can help dial things in, but I like that sliding weight track from a fitting standpoint. And again, the big thing that Ping are talking about is that we know how forgiving generally Ping are, but they're trying to get this face a little bit faster again for this low spin head. And the Elite, really the big talking point is all about this new AI smart face. So there's 10x more control points than the previous smart face, so trying to make it even more forgiving on top of the speed that was seen in that AI Smoke Max. Okay, so let's kick off with the Ping, and this is a direct comparison, direct head-to-head. We've got exactly the same Tensai 65 stiff shaft in both and a 9-degree head in both, so complete head-to-head. So let's kick off with this Ping. As I said, I think when it comes to these turbulators in that sort of playing position, we're used to it, aren't we? So I think if you already play Ping, then the turbulators probably does look quite normal. If you're perhaps coming from another brand, maybe a TaylorMade or a Callaway going into the Ping, they might put you off a little bit, but I think, as I said, you will get used to that. And one thing Ping are talking about, they're trying to make it a pleasing sound as well. Certainly the 425 was a bit loud, and then to be honest, last year the 430 was a very good driver. And to be honest, I think to get a better driver than that 430 is going to be hard, but it's certainly no worse from the testing I've done so far. Yeah, good hit there, 281. Again, we are looking at spin as well as a key factor here. Obviously, with this being a low spin driver, 2,300 is pretty good. Generally, optimally, you're kind of looking 2,000 to 2,500 as a rough guide on your spin rate. So if you're someone that perhaps is over 3,000, this could be an option for you to look at. Yeah, just turning over a touch there. Ball speed seems to be hovering around that 151 mark, which is not the quickest. Yeah, just caught that off the bottom so you can see that spin just jump up a touch. That will affect the spin rate. But yeah, it certainly feels solid enough to me. Like the look of it. Again, just a little bit off the bottom and you can see that go quite a bit to the left. Better one yet. So the good ones seem to be around that sort of 280 mark. And again, 280, not the longest really. From the drivers I've tried this year, I'd say probably more like 290 would be where I'd like it to sit. Let's just hit a couple more with this Ping and then we'll get into the Callaway. better ball speed there. Yeah, much better ball speed there. 154, 286, good number. Okay, let's just try one more. Good hit. Yeah, those last two, much better. Yeah, near enough 290. So that's what I would expect, and that's what I'd want from this type of club. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, so now into this Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond. Before we get into that, sign up to my free downloadable practice guide that is in the description below. Loads of tips, tricks, drills for you to do for your practice to help you reach your goals this year. If any of you have seen my recent reviews, this Elyte has been, for me, the surprise package this year. Performed incredibly well in all the heads, really, to be honest, specifically the standard head. But this Triple Diamond, as I said, is generally for your quicker club speeds, trying to get faster ball speeds and a bit lower spin. And the big talking point has been around this smart face. So is this tech working on the off-center hits? I felt like with the Ping, couple of off-center hits I had did kind of dive a bit left. Certainly when I sort of set up to this driver, it feels a bit more open. Every time I address the ball with this driver, it does feel to me like it's just sit that little bit open. And again, for me, that misses it left is a good thing. Now you need to think about your own game. If you generally slice the ball, it might not be good for you. And again, they do have the adjustability in the loft sleeve. But let's hit a few shots. Let's see how it performs. A little bit high off the face, but yeah, 288 off the bat there. That's really good, and that actually didn't feel great. A little bit high off the face. Yeah, interesting enough there. Both of them quite high off the face, but performing pretty well. Yeah, just love the shape of this head. I think it looks fantastic. Felt a touch off the bottom. So you see the spin go up there because of that bottom strike. But again, it's playable. You know, it's not that far off line. 60 feet right, 20 yards, which is fine. Ball speed, actually still pretty good. 154 with an off-center hit. Maybe that smart face, that 10x face is doing the job. Felt off the heel. That's interesting. Yeah, I felt a long way off the heel. It has gone left. I did have a similar strike with the Ping and I felt like it went further left. So yeah, maybe we are seeing just a little bit more forgiveness off this head. Yeah, not bad. Surprised on the distance there. That's really dropped off 267 there. Now, when it comes to the tech, guys, you know, I'm thinking about my next category in terms of the tech. I think we're mainly comparing the faces. We've got the smart face, we've got that flash face, thinner face, loft sleeves the same. Bear in mind, Ping has got the sliding weight track. I'm actually going to give it to the Ping because of that adjustability in the weight track. I think that's going to help me from a fitting standpoint to help my customers, you know, get dialed in to kind of match their shot shape, really. Yeah, decent hit. Again, not the longest though, 280, which is fine. Not the longest. I think when it comes to distance, they probably feel quite similar, if I'm being honest. As I said, definitely like the look of it. It's looks great on the eye. That felt like a good hit, 288. So that, it feels like the best versus best is actually very good. So I don't think there's going to be much in the distance at all. Let's just try one more with this Callaway. Yeah, good one to finish there, 290. Really good. So before we look at the dispersion and the numbers, my feeling is that distance felt quite similar. Ball speed maybe felt, yeah, probably quite similar again. The dispersion felt a bit better on the Callaway, I must admit. I felt like I hit both of them quite similar. Let's take a look at that dispersion to begin with. Okay, so yeah, when we look at the dispersion there, head and shoulders, the Callaway Elyte wins the dispersion. So that's now 2-1 to the Callaway. And yeah, night and day. Remember, that is only for me though, guys. You know, think about your own game. My miss is left. So as soon as I see those two big misses left with the Ping, you know, for me, that's a no-no. Remember though, the tech is good where we can move the weight more towards the toe to hold the toe open if I do like the other numbers. But definitely from a dispersion standpoint, the Callaway is much better. And then if we just work from sort of left to right, we've got the Callaway at the top, the Ping at the bottom. You can see I'm moving the club very similar there, 104 to 105. Touch slower with the Callaway. Ball speed, so this is our next category. Absolutely near enough identical, 152 each. So that's a draw between those two. So that's now 3-2 to the Callaway. Launch fractionally higher, spin very similar. So again, if we are looking at the low spin element, then actually the spin looks pretty similar, doesn't it? A little bit higher with the Callaway, but I do feel like there was a couple that was a little bit higher off the face, which will affect that. But our final category, distance, we've got 258.8 for 280.9 total with the Callaway, 249 for 275 with the Ping. So Callaway wins it from a distance point of view. So, you know, it was a close run, guys, but ever so slightly the Callaway wins it 4-3. As I always say, guys, it is very personal, but if we're looking for a bit better dispersion, a bit better distance, then I would check out this new Callaway Elyte triple diamond driver.